And I am back, as I previously said, with my this week's recap review for The Real Housewives of New York City. This is season 14, episode 2. Actually, 1 second, y'all, because this graphic is driving me crazy. But yes, we are back with The Real Housewives of New York City, season 14, episode 2. Oh, Christmas tree. Y'all, I have to be honest. This episode did not give as much as episode 1. Brynn was missing in action. She was obviously missed. And unfortunately, this episode was a little boring for me. If you did watch this episode, go ahead and let me know in the comments what you would rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. For me, I'd have to give it like if it wasn't for honestly some things that Jenna said, really honestly only Jenna. I'm just interested in her. Again, I'm a fashion girly, so she's a fashion girly. I find it to be very interesting, like her career and everything with that. So it was nice to see, to hear more about her personal life and whatnot. But overall, I wasn't so thrilled. I wasn't super thrilled by this episode, if I'm just being honest. And give me 1 second. I will be on camera in just a second, y'all. I'm trying to fix something real quick. But yeah, again, if you watch this episode, please let me know in the comments what you think. Scale of 1 to 10. I would have to give it, like a 5, like a 5. And I feel like that's really low for a show that's a new franchise, a new cast that's only on season 2. I feel like it was way too soon for Brynn to be absent. But, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbled, right? So this episode, we kicked this episode off with Sai and Uba. They are about to head off to the Hamptons. Again, remember, this is about probably like November, December at this point. And they're heading off to the Hamptons because Erin has a beautiful home that she renovated there. And Sai is kind of confusing me too, because on one hand, she's like, oh yeah, I'm this around the way chick. I'm, just, I guess a girl's girl. Like, I'm just chill. I'm just this. I'm just that. But then every chance she gets, she's like kind of giving off this like bougie-esque vibe. And I say that again because being, I ain't nobody's huge influencer yet, but I am somebody who, I like to overpack as well. However, at the same time, it's like, girl, come on, like 8 bags for 3 days, I feel like was a bit excessive if you even ask me. Like, but again, I guess this is their way of securing a spot for next season, I guess, by upping the ante as far as their personalities, right? I mean, it's Housewives at the end of the day, but nonetheless, they're heading off. And Jessel also joins, and they get into the SUV. They're off. Everything's good. Everything's good. And that's when we also learn that Brynn will not be in attendance because she's not feeling well, to the point that she's got to go get like a steroid shot. Like, sis is a mess. So she's not going to be in attendance. And we switch screens and we see Erin. She's getting a caviar caterer to come and do like a whole spread for the ladies to welcome them. She puts they have their names embroidered on the pajamas. She got these wonderful pajamas she puts on each of their beds, which was nice. Any Housewives show, we love a gift. The ladies are always going to be looking for to scrutinize the host. So I think that was a good touch. And Uba lets us know that she usually doesn't stay at folks' house. She usually likes to stay in hotels, whatever. And I'm like, Uba, I'm the same way. Like, I do like my personal space. I totally understand that. But she is like, okay, she made an exception. I'm like, obviously you made an exception, sis, because you want to obviously film, right? So obviously she had to step off that. So I get it. And again, Sai bringing her own toilet paper, like, girl, you're not really an around the way chick, because everything you're doing is like not giving around the way chick. I don't know. I hope I don't wind up disliking her, because she doesn't come off like this on social media. It's and like sometimes when people get on these shows, who's another good example of this? I can't think. Y'all let me know in the comments, like, who is someone who's came on a show that's just made you completely, like, that someone that you've been following, that you were aware of for years and years and years, and then they came on a show and you just completely saw another side of them that just made you just be like, for some reason right now, I can't seem to think. I think because I'm just like super focused on reviewing the show right now, that I can't even think of, like, but it's happened. It happens. And it really sucks when that happens, because you're like, dang, like, I really like these people online. I like them. It's like, I like you better with your mouth closed. That's what it's giving right now with her. But again, we're only on season 2, or we're only on episode 2. Jenna, like, shout outs to Jenna though. She pulls up in this clean vintage Mercedes Benz, and I'm just like, we love to see it. I love to see it. Again, her taste, divine. She also has a cute little Hamptons house too. I'm like, girl, like, Jenna is the type, she never gonna cease to amaze you. I am here for it, okay? And she also says that she's never been on a girls trip. She's way better one-on-one with people, with girls, whatever, I guess, with others. But I like how she's going into this fully embracing. She's not being like standoffish or anything like that, because we have seen on some of the other shows that sometimes people like to kind of gravitate to the back because they're uncomfortable in certain situations, but yet still think that they are gonna somehow get paid the same when they're not even showing up in as many scenes, I guess. Like, and Jenna is like, no, like, she's gonna be there, she's gonna film, she's gonna give it a shot, like, everything's good. Hey Feisty, thanks for joining me again. Oh, where's my, sorry y'all, I'm like doing a lot right now. But yeah, I just and Jessel, I'm not speaking ill on anybody's marriage. I'm not wishing any negativity on her situation at all. Like, so I just want to give that disclaimer before I say either they are headed for divorce or there's more to this situation. Because when you tell me that, and I get everybody's libido is different, okay? But when you tell me that you haven't done the do, what am I, freaking 95 years old? Anyway, when you tell me that y'all ain't did it since the boys were born, her twins are 1 year old at this point, y'all haven't done it since then, and like, you're blaming on being exhausted, blaming on this, blaming on that. And then you always let us know that you and him started off as friends and you didn't even see him much for that and all this other stuff. It's giving Jessel likes to keep up appearances. It's giving I feel like I need to portray a certain image, yet that's not my real life at all. And I hope, because she has decided to share her life on screen and open up her life to all of us viewers, I want to see what's really going on there, because that's not making sense to me. That's more than just, oh, you're a little tired. Oh, I'm a little, I just don't feel that well. Oh, I'm my C-section scar. Because at the end of the day, honey, if he really loves you like that for real, because it's not like you just had babies and just got like, you turned into a whole different person that is unrecognizable. I've seen the pictures from before. So he not gonna mind no little C-section scar, I'm sure. Like, I am almost 100% sure. And if it's really that serious, then just turn over and you can always do it the back way. Anyway, so, but that's enough on her situation, whatever. Erin also makes a comment about never showing up empty-handed to somebody's function, because that's just how she was raised. That's also how I was raised. That's why I was really confused last week when she was like, oh my God, it was pouring, I just couldn't bring anything, when she showed up to Jenna's house. And yet in this episode, you're like, oh, I wasn't, you're saying that, and you're also saying like, oh, well, at the same time, you weren't very receptive to her trying to gift you her Charmin toilet paper. Although I do think that was tacky, as much as I think that was tacky on Sai's part. Erin, you did show up to Jenna's house empty-handed. And I'm not saying you need to go to anybody's house and have, a horse and carriage waiting to take them away to freaking Paris, and that doesn't make sense. What did I anyway? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have to show up with a freaking Birkin bag and a Mercedes in the driveway. Like, you don't need to do that. However, a bottle of wine, even a card, just saying like, thank you, like, I'm appreciative that you even invited me over here, would suffice, if you ask me. And I'm not saying that trying to drop no hints like, oh, you better not come to my house like that. Like, no, I'm literally saying that that's just the type of person I am. So when she blamed it on the rain, I was like, girl, you gonna have to come better than that. Whatever. The rooms are nice. Jessel, this is when Jessel first makes her initial complaint, and she doesn't really like her room. It's the daughter's room. I want to say Erin said that it's like 6,500 square feet altogether. There's 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and a fully finished basement. It's a really nice house. Like, she renovated out of that house. But I'm just like, there always has to be some type of scrutiny as it pertains to the rooms when it comes to Housewives. Like, it wouldn't be Housewives, again, if we didn't have some type of gripe or complaint about the accommodation. So wasn't surprised there. Jenna also shares that she recently lost her mom. Her mom suffered from Asperger's, but she was not diagnosed until much later on in life. And because of that, she was very, she would say things that, if you're not familiar with Asperger's, like, she would say things that would just be completely like, just would turn people off, that were just not nice. And she was not very affectionate with Jenna, like, and it makes sense because last week Jenna was so affectionate. She took such a great liking to Jessel's mom because of the obvious lack in the relationship that she had with her own mother. I get that 100%. And yeah, her mom was sick for 8 months, and it just got really bad the last 2 months. And they were not close for the reasons I just mentioned. I feel like I'm not gonna say that Jenna's being like the most real, like all the other ladies are being completely fake or anything like that. But I will say we got a lot of vulnerability this episode from Jenna, and I'm expecting the other ladies to come with that same level of vulnerability. Like, that's only fair, right? We'll see, though. We'll see. Uber said after caviar, y'all. She wanted real food. They got there at like 4, and I think the dinner reservations weren't until 6. So Uber was like, deuces, I'm going down to Provision Cafe, wherever or whatever, and I'm gonna get me some real food. But joke's on Uber because it was actually closed. Yeah, so there's that. Jenna also gifts all the ladies with lingerie. Everyone's is cute except Jessel. Again, hones in automatically on not liking hers, kind of starting to complain. And we kind of understand at this point that this is setting the stage for what is to come later on at the end of the episode. And so far, I will say Jessel's probably like my least favorite because of the reasons I said before. She seems like she's just only concerned with keeping up appearances. And I do understand that a lot of that is due to the certain cultural aspects there. Her being from an Indian culture, she is Indian. And because of that, she that's very high context culture when it comes to childbirth, creating families, stuff like that. And the only thing I will not say ill about Jessel is that she is a super resilient chick. And I say that because she went through 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 cycles of IVF to conceive those boys. And like, I can't even imagine. I mean, I ain't even had a child naturally, so I can't even imagine 5 cycles. I know how much that can be on one's body, and then to push both of them out, like that's got to be a lot. So I do give her grace to an extent. However, there is more to the story that she's not telling us, and I'm gonna need her to bring that to the forefront by the end of the season. Otherwise, she don't need to come back next season because everything else is going to be built on a facade. Jenna also shares that she has a rare genetic disorder, and it's caused hyperpigmentation scars all over her body except for right down the middle. So when you do see any of her body parts on display, you only see right down the middle because that's the only part of her body that doesn't have the scarring. So I was like, wow, that's interesting to know too. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Again, being very transparent, being very open and vulnerable. We like to see it because we don't always get that in equal amounts on Housewives. But they head off to dinner, and Uba pulls out like a compass because she has to sit true north because true north equals her true self. And I was like, I like Uba. She's pretty, she's nice or whatever, but at the same time, she's I can see why her and Chanel Ayan from The Real Housewives of Dubai are related, because I'm gonna assume that like they do that very comical, like goofy, just like outlandish kind of behavior, over the top behavior that's kind of, sometimes it can be a little funny, but for the most part, it can be like kind of like over the top and annoying. Like, so I hope that's not all we're going to get from this season from her. Like, I hope we get that same level of realness from her too, because it was just kind of like the things she was saying and doing. Like, she gives, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but it just wasn't that funny to me. Like, are you there for like the comedy relief? Like, I don't, whatever. Jenna also dishes about her marriage. She was publicly forced to come out. At the age of 40, she realized she just wasn't fully happy. She had this beautiful baby boy, but she just realized she didn't want to spend the next 40 years of her life in her current situation. And that kind of led to her divorce. She had a sit-down conversation with one of her friends who I think was a lesbian. I'm assuming. And she kind of realized that conversation, even just purely out of curiosity, kind of got her engines roaring a little bit in her, and it kind of just developed from there. And 3 weeks into her kind of trying to navigate through her feelings and stuff, she was basically publicly outed for having been out at dinner with a woman. They weren't being all lovey-dovey or anything like that. They may have been having like a little bit of googly eyes, but there was no physical touching or anything like that. However, somebody let it be known that somebody, I guess, tipped off the blogs. And this is when she was still working at J. Crew at the time. Her CEO and PR called her on her desk phone and was like, basically, they said, we've seen you out with a woman, either confirm or deny that you are seeing a woman. And she was just like, confirm? Like, I don't even. And Jenna doesn't seem like the confrontational type. She doesn't seem like anybody that has a lot of just drama, excess drama circulating in her life. So I can understand why she said that. I mean, it is what it is. But at this point in time, she's declining to share who she's currently seeing. So, and some of the other ladies being Sai, had an issue with that because she's like, well, if you know my husband, like, why can't I know your? And I'm like, I get both sides. I get her having gone through that experience, not wanting to share who she's currently with. But I also see how Sai's like, well, girl, we all putting it on Front Street, so I don't know how they're gonna deal with that one, but that's between them. And also Uba, when they were talking about the whole Jessel situation, lack of sex, whatever, she was like, yeah, she likes to have it 8 times a night when she does or whatever. And I'm just like, girl, you're broke. What? That hole must be gapped open as big as the Atlantic, because what? Okay. That's a lot. I feel like. Am I wrong? Because I feel like that's a bit much. Anyway. Also, Jenna's mom, of course, was not very receptive to finding out about her sexual preference. But I did think it was awesome that everybody at J. Crew was supportive of Jenna when she was outed. He said, oh, is it worth watching? I mean, I really enjoy it. I think it's probably going to be a little bit boring for you right now until we probably get into a little bit more with it. For me, I mean, I like it because it's fresh, it's new. They're speaking to my fashion girly aesthetic and all that. I like that. But honestly, and I said in the beginning, I don't know if you got in here, yes, but this second episode was a little bit boring for it to be the second episode, if you ask me. But I'll keep you posted. And last but not least, y'all, they go back to the house. It's pouring down rain. They decide to put on the lingerie that Jenna gifted to them earlier. The cutest lingerie was Erin's size. Jenna wasn't going to be in no lingerie because, again, she already said that she likes to be completely covered anyway. Uba's wasn't bad, but it did look like a regular dress. I wish I would have got graphics, but I didn't. I watched this at like 1 o'clock in the morning last night, y'all. So talk about putting in work, first of all. And Jessel's wasn't bad, but I didn't like the cut. But she let it be known that it's the worst thing. It's super ugly. She would never really buy this. She feels like she looks so ugly and all this stuff. She's saying this, mind you, she's saying all this right in front of Jenna, who gifted her this item that she didn't have to do at all. And it's just like, girl, like, just put it on. Nobody's here. Like, again, she is all about appearances to the point that it's just like, not fun. And she comes off ungrateful. She comes off very mean girlish, very just, I would probably snatch that off her body. Like, that's probably what I would have did if I was Jenna. But Jenna's also not very confrontational. So I doubt that she is going to say anything really. But Sai picked up on it. Aaron picked up on it. Like, Jessel, really? Like, it was just very off-putting. She's just off-putting at this point in time for me, y'all. But anyway, this is all I got for Real Housewives of New York. Hopefully episode 3 picks back up, because again, right now it's looking like Bryn is the one who's going to carry the season on her back. And I really don't want to say that, because it's very early on in the scene and no one should be feeling that way. But we just gonna have to see next week, y'all. I'll be back, and I will also be back in about at 12:15. We are going to be discussing the more Housewives, pretty much. Nene Leakes, Carlos Kane, part 1 of their interview. So definitely go grab you a little snack, whatever. Come right back. Don't forget, if you have not already, hit that like button. Shout out to Replay Gang. Get in the comments so we can chat about how you felt about this episode. Follow me at all of my socials listed right there, scrolling literally right there right now. And yeah, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this, because I enjoyed doing it for you guys. And I will see you guys in the next one. Shout outs to my sis and my sis. Like, shout out to everybody in chat, and I will see you guys momentarily. All right, bye.